What up? What up? It's your girl Lex. Some may know me as qver.cetti or Lexi, whichever one you feel comfortable with. You are now tuning in to the P.D.A podcast.
Ayy, I got the recipe, never gonna let any op get the best of me. Thought it was distance, but haters is next to me. Talk to the spirit, you know I've been heavenly. Company definitely show your trajectory.
P.D.A. Now you might probably been thinking it's a play on public displays of affection, but P.D.A. for me stands for purpose-driven ascension. So, and what that means for me is that I am a purpose-driven individual who is curated to and here on this earth for ascension, as much as I feel like everybody else is too as well. What this can mean for you is the same thing. A lot of people are trying to find their purpose just as well as me. So just on this podcast, what we'll be talking about and going into is about finding our purpose, how we can find our purpose, how we live in our purpose. Some of us are already in our purpose, and how there can be multiple purposes within seasons, gifts within those seasons, and the purpose you may have within those seasons with specific gifts. So on P.D.A, we will be talking about that, going into that. And with that being said, we will be engaging in conversations and exploring real life topics that help on the individual better understand purpose with authority, strength, and boldness. So I thank you and I appreciate you, and I'm glad that you are here watching with me today, as well as listening. So if we want to go into it, I'm gonna just go ahead and dive right into it, just because hey, that's what we do. So if we want to go ahead and talk about purpose and what does purpose mean, if we look it up on Google, what it says, I want to say the worldly definition of it would be is the central motivating aims of your life, the reason you get up in the morning. But if you want to look for it as a more spiritual aspect and base of it, it is we are here to serve God and love others as God loves us. So however you may take it, however you may balance it in life, understanding and knowing that what is your reason? What is your absolute reason of getting up in the morning? Like, what drives you? What drives your children? Besides being up for your children, or does it purpose drive you for somebody else, or does it drive it just for you? Or what did God say your purpose is? And some of you may be here saying, I'm not for sure what my purpose is, or I have an idea of it, or somebody may be saying, I've been dealing with this man or this woman for so many years. We've been together 10 plus years, ain't been married, ain't been none of that. And you trying to figure out, do they serve a purpose in my life any longer? Or do I serve a purpose in their life any longer? Or am I just here kicking it with them? And nobody really wants to be kicked with. So here, I guess, we just going to get into that and talk about purpose. What is purpose? A little bit about me, my background, and my journey. Sharing what I discovered about me. I want to start off with how I just knew off the rip that my purpose was to be in the WNBA. I was gonna be the next Tamika Catchings. Like, that was gonna be me. I was gonna be the star. I'm a starer. I knew that. So I knew that the WNBA was for me. I was gonna retire from the WNBA. I could be a sports analyst, sportscaster. That was going to be my next thing in life. And that's what I set all my life around. Everything that I did in life was about basketball, because I just knew that my purpose was basketball. That's what I was here for. So if you ask me what my purpose is, or if I knew what purpose was or what it was about for me, I would say that it was basketball, going to the WNBA, having my own signature shoe. That's what purpose meant for me. But life had a different way of showing me that it was a lot different than what I thought it was gonna be. So I played basketball for many, many years. I played all the way up until I was 18, from 5 to 18 years old. Got playing through tab rec to elementary to middle school. I played AAU in high school. And I never got the chance to play high school ball on an actual high school team. It's a lot of politics in there, but hey. So come high school, I just knew, like, this is my chance, lock in. This is it for me. Like, this is your chance to have a full ride scholarship. to go to any college that I wanted or that wanted me, then this would be my meal ticket to the WNBA. But I got into high school, grades started slipping. Wasn't being who I knew I had been called to be, and the blessing that was upon my life. And so, like I said, grades started slipping. I wasn't living up to or playing to my potential as far as I should have been in the classroom. And but my focus was clowning, basketball. That's it. So as time progressed and went on, I'm like, well, get your grades right, you get on the team. So freshman year, I wasn't on the team because of my grades. Next year, wasn't on the team. But then I got into my junior year, and I'm like, my grades changed. I went from like a 1.9 to a 3.6, so I should be on the team, And I'm trying out, and they like, you're just not up to par with the other girls, and I'm not understanding because the same girls that I'm playing with in high school are the same girls that I'm playing with in AAU. So I just didn't understand it. That's why I said that politics come into play. So time goes on. I'm my senior year. I'm like, all right, I'm training over the summer. This is my time to improve. I can change and do a lot of things to make myself better, not only on the court, but also in the classroom. So I had the grades. So I'm like, I'm locked in. Grades is right. My game is right. I get there, I try out. Still a no. At the end of the tryouts, I'm outside. I'm waiting on my ride, and I'm just crying, and I'm not understanding because I'm like, God, I know you said that basketball was for me. Like this is all I know. This is all I'm thinking. This is all I'm good for. This is my life. And as I'm sitting there crying, it's like God spoke to me, and He was like, wipe your eyes. I have something better in store for you. And immediately like that, my eyes and just dried up. And I stopped crying, and I'm pulling myself together, and I'm all good. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe this ain't it for me. Like maybe the next thing is I can do a walk on. Everybody's like, you can do a walk on, and once you get to college, and that'll be your meal ticket there, and you can still make it to the WNBA. Just don't let this take you away from your game and continue to work on it. So I'm like, all right, cool. Got to my freshman year of college, tried to do a walk on. They're like, yeah, we're going to announce tryouts. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm at a JUCO, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. Not really where I want to be, but, hey, we going to lock in. Let's get it cracking. Never heard anything about the walk on trials. So I'm like, all right, don't even know if they had them. So I didn't play my freshman year. Got to my transfer, went to a D1 school. They was like, yeah, we can do walk-on tryouts. You know what I'm saying? We can get you going. Get there. Don't even know if they had the walk-on tryouts there either. I think they already had their team set up, and they was locked and loaded, ready to go. And I was playing basketball in my church's gym, and an older gentleman saw me, and he was like, you're a really talented player. He was like, you just keep working at it. You keep practicing, you could do a walk on. And I'm like, man, I don't know. Like my heart ain't set on it no more because I keep getting no's. I keep getting no's every single time I try to press forward and go forward as far as playing basketball. And I started practicing, started waking up early, going to exercises, working out, shooting 100+ shots a day, eating right. Mind you, within this time from high school, I started at 2. I left high school at 220 and went over to college, and I got down to about 173. So I dropped weight. I'm like, I'm getting myself together and prepared to be able to run up and down the court, and still college basketball in general was just not working for me. So I know it's just like, if basketball isn't it for me, then what is? So I'm like, all right, I'll be a coach. I get to trying to be a coach, and I'm graduating for my bachelor's in sports management at college. And so I'm like, all right, this is it. I got my internship. I'm I'm coaching with a AAU team, and I'm interning for a men's and women's league here in the city. And I'm like, all right, this is it. Like I'm in it, I'm still in the sports. I'm still in it. I'm locked in, and all this should be happening for me next. And as time progressed and went on, I had this spiritual awakening and everything, and all of a sudden my heart just removed itself from wanting to coach basketball. And I did not understand that at all. So I say all that to say that in the end, a lot of times we feel like we know what our purpose is. Like just how I knew basketball was my purpose. Like that is what I should be doing for the rest of my life. Like I should be coaching somebody's team. I should be playing on somebody's team. But those just was not in the cards for me. And I really just want to take you, the people that are watching this, on this journey with me as I find what my purpose is, as well as what your purpose is. And we all sit here and on this journey, we find it together. Partially of what I think my journey is for me to find or help other people find what their purpose is. So I feel like my purpose within this season is to help you or other people like you or like me to find their purpose. And a lot of people don't know what purpose looks like or what it looks like for them, what it could look like. But I got some things here, I want to share with y'all. Just what purpose can look like. So when we think about purpose, I got about 7 things I want to list off for y'all. You feel me? Just stay tuned in with me right quick. So the first one I have is when God has called you to do or is something is effortless and is in alignment. So if we think about that and we dive into that a little bit, when God has called you to do something, that's purpose. That means he's meant for you to do something that is a betterment for yourself or somebody else. It's in alignment. It's happening effortlessly for you. That means you're not stressing or straining or struggling over it. Nobody is pulling teeth for you to do it. You effortlessly are walking into it. It's graceful for you, and you're not looking at it as a struggle on you or something that you always have to prep and prepare yourself for. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of things where in life where we feel like, man, like as much as I love doing this, I'm having a hard time like getting up and going and doing it. And I can admit this for myself, as I was coaching basketball, there were times where I was tired and I was like, man, as much as I love interacting with kids, as much as I love coaching kids, I am tired. And it's a lot, and it's energy draining to go and prepare yourself to go and coach kids for however many hours. Just like as me being a substitute teacher. I know people think a substitute teacher, you don't really be teaching, but I be in the classroom teaching. When you come to my class, it ain't just a study hall, unless I don't prepare a lesson plan. But for the most part, you coming to learn. And so I myself have to prep myself every day to give my full undivided attention and energy to children. So like I said, it's effortless. It's in alignment for you. It's happening for you the way it should be. We go ahead and dive right into number 2. Is you're validated in that space. So that means like when you're walking into that space and you're constantly in it, there's somebody validating you or praising you or letting you know that this is for you. Like you belong here. Like don't let that deter you from what God has called you to do or what God has called you for. So I know a lot of times there were in places and instances where I was doing basketball and I wasn't being validated in it. A lot. It was, you can't play, you not this type of player, or somebody better than you, taller than you. But there were certain times in it where somebody saw my value and I was validated in that space. And sometimes you have to realize and understand that there are certain spaces or certain people within certain spaces that will validate you. Sometimes, or like I can say for myself, there was a time and place where I was with people who did not validate me in that space. But when I moved on to another team, they validated me in that space. So there's some people that are meant to be there with you, and there's some people that are not. Going into number 3, it keeps coming back full circle. So it's like a law of attraction. Sometimes we find ourselves running from things, and that thing keeps running back to us. So it's like, if I know that I'm meant to do a certain thing, like if I'm meant to be a teacher, but I'm like, man, I can't do it. That ain't for me. I don't want to do it. But God has called you to do it. Or it keeps coming back full circle. Or somebody keeps asking you to teach this or do that. Or can you teach these kids this? Or can you coach that? Or are you able to give a lesson over this and that in certain areas? And you just like, man, I can't do it. But it's a law of attraction. It keeps coming back to you each and every single time because you feel like this is just not for me. But it is for you because it keeps coming back each and every single time. That means it's for you. Number 4, you have a feeling of serving and doing it out of love without getting paid. So, as somebody who's heavily involved in my church, I serve in the church, and there's certain things that I do that I know that I do it out of love. I do it because I want to see my church progress, or I want to see myself progress in the ministry. I'm not doing it because I want to be seen or I want other people to see me. And sometimes, when you living in your ego, you like, man, I want to do this because I want to see Shawty over there. I want her to see me do this. She gonna see how I praise the Lord. You feel me? When she see how I praise the Lord, she gonna step about me, right? But like, in all honesty, like when you doing something for out of the goodness and the kindness of your heart, nah, you doing it out of love. You doing it because you want to progress. You want to see others around you progress. You're not doing it because your ego has you in a place of like you want to be seen or you want to progress in order to have, as I would say, some stank on your name. So the 5th one I have is inner knowing. Sometimes you just know, like you know what your purpose is. It's if we go back to number 3, it's that law of attraction. It just keeps coming back to you, keeps coming back round and round and round. And you just know. It's something within you. You just like, I know I'm meant to do this. I know I'm meant to be the CEO or entrepreneur or this or that. And so that's what makes knowing your purpose great. Some people may not know it, but you know what? That's why we all here, because we're here to find it together. So number 6, talents can be closely aligned with what your purpose is. So there's a lot of people who are great at a certain thing. If we take a look at Kurt Franklin and how he came up within a lot of trauma. And so he was talented at writing, the piano. I wouldn't say so much as he was talented within singing, but I guess that's up for debate for everybody else. But in the grand scheme of things, his talent was creating, producing music for other people and himself. And that's what got him to his purpose. And a lot of things that I can say is that maybe for me, I can say that his purpose is to bring healing to other people through his music. As much as he was healing himself through that music, he's healing other people as well. That's purpose. So that's what talents can be closely aligned with what purpose is. There's people who are basketball players. I could bring up LeBron James, one of the greatest players of all time, my favorite basketball player. His purpose, some people may feel like it's just basketball. I feel like his purpose was to inspire people through basketball by being one of the greatest players to ever play. So understanding that there's some talents that you have been presented to you, that you know you're good at, that God has blessed you with, that you are supposed to use for your purpose. A lot of times you may overlook your talents because you haven't been validated in it. But also going back to that validation, sometimes the only validation you need is from God. He's the one that gave it to you, right? So why not step into it? Why not walk in that? Walk in your purpose confidently, boldly. That's what those talents are for. And then the last one, number 7, trying something new. A lot of times we get caught up in trying to do what we know, just being in old habits like biting fingernails. I used to bite my fingernails bad. I used to have little booty fingers. And we stay in those habits because they are comfortable. But the most uncomfortable part about not biting my fingernails was them growing back. It wasn't the me having to stop. It was really them growing back. And then when I let them go, because you have to let go of what's comfortable. So when you try something new, it may be something that you like, man, I ain't never thought about doing that, but never do that a day in my life. But little do you know that your purpose is aligned within that. So you have to step out and try something new in order to be able to progress and put yourself out there in order to find your purpose. Your purpose will not sit in something that's comfortable. We don't grow in comfortability. We grow in uncomfortability because it gets you to change. It gets you to grow. So you have to try something new. So with those 7, I also have 4 of what purpose doesn't look like. Now stay with me. Stay with me, all right? Because what I'm getting ready to go into, some people ain't gonna like it. But you have to understand that there's certain things that purpose don't look like that people will try to make purpose look like. So number 1, something you have to force, unaligned. If we go back to number 1 of what purpose can look like, we talked about alignment. But if we talking about number 1 and what purpose doesn't look like, is when you force something and it's unaligned. When something is continuously showing you and telling you that it's not for you, that it's not meant to be, is unaligned, it's not for you, and you keep forcing it, it's not purpose. There are a lot of relationships that I tried to force romantically, platonically, that kept trying to show me that they were not for me. And I kept trying to force them and be like, no, I can do this. I can work through this. I can be better for you. I can be better for this. I feel like I can change anything. I can change everybody's life. But in the end, it was not for me. It was unaligned. It was never meant to be. Sometimes things are here to show you a lesson. They're here to show you something. It's here to help you grow. It's a catalyst to your growth, but it was not meant for you. Number 2 is chasing. Now, when it comes to chasing, I can go back to number 1. I kept chasing things that were unaligned for me. A lot of times in life, we chase things that are unaligned. We keep chasing things and saying there's purpose in that. There's my purpose. It's right there for me, but you have to keep chasing it. There's a lot of things that I've heard, like especially in church, when my pastor, he said something about you're chasing certain things when they should be chasing you. So like chasing money, we chase money through jobs. So a lot of times we pick up jobs or we apply for jobs and get interviews for them because we're chasing the money aspect of it. But a lot of times if we would just be who we are, chase God, the money will fall into alignment. So chasing things that aren't aligned, things that keep running from you, things that are showing you day and night, proof that, baby, this ain't for you. It ain't yours. It never has been, never will be. And you keep chasing it. It's not for you. We shouldn't have to chase things that are organically in alignment for us. I believe that truly when something is for you, it will come to you naturally and easily. I don't have to chase what's for me. So it's the same for you. What's for you will not pass you by. We all have to learn that. I had to learn that the hard way through a lot of things, especially with basketball, because I'm like, I keep chasing it, but it's running from me. I know sometimes people on social media, we jokingly say, man, like, you know, I'm chasing this paper or whatever, but in the end, or I'm chasing this, I'm chasing that. In the end, I should not have to chase what is aligned and what is meant for me. If we go on to number 3, moving with ill intent, run the race that's set before you. I heard that on a podcast. It's a podcast I just started listening to. It's Your Fave Auntie's podcast. And when she said, run the race that's set before you, that struck so much into me. Like, oh my God, like it was like a fire that lit up and through me. Because when you moving with ill intent, that means that you're doing, like, you're trying to go after somebody else's blessing. What's so crazy about life and a lot of things is that a lot of people will feel jealous, will be jealous and have envy of you because of the things that you naturally have the ability to be and do. And so what they would do, they would feel like, man, that's supposed to be for me. That's supposed to be my blessing. I could do that. So what they try to do is they move with ill intent to try and steal it from you. Or they feel like that's supposed to be my life. And they move with ill intent, or they doing the same thing as you. You could be a real estate agent. And they see you successful. They like, well, I'm going to be a real estate agent because I know I can do that. I'm supposed to be successful. But baby, that wasn't meant for you. It wasn't meant for you. You're not meant to be a real estate agent, baby. Come on. That wasn't meant for you at all. And then you wondering why it continuously keeps showing that you're not aligned for it. You can't get clients. And if you do, you can't keep them, or you're not selling houses, or you're worrying about your bank account because it's in the negatives one time and you can pay your bills this month, but next month you can't. And things are not aligning for you because it was never meant for you. But because you went and tried to take something that was for them, that was for their purpose, you missing out on yours. So run the race that's set before you. That race was set before them. Your race could be you over here being an entrepreneur for something totally different. But because you so focused and worried about their race, you losing your own. That's a word right there. I don't know if y'all felt that one. But I felt that one. All right, that's a word right there. Somebody write that down. Keep that locked in. All right, make sure you quote me on that because I will come back for my money if you try to use it. All right. But run the race that's set before you. Do the things that are called and that are aligned to you, and don't worry about what somebody else is doing. Because if you worried about them, how can you focus on you? What's the saying that when you worried about what's behind you, how can you focus on what's in front of you? It's I can't remember the name in the Bible, but it was a woman who was in a village full of other men in her family, and God told them, when you run, because I'm going to destroy this city by fire. And he told them, when you run and you go, don't look back. And so he told them to run and go, and he's destroying the city by fire. And they running, they going. And the wife of the family, she looked back. And when she looked back, she turned into a pillar of salt. I'm going to let y'all catch that one. Because in the end, what happened to homegirl when she looked back? You so worried about behind you that you ain't focused in front of you. And now you're salty. Come on. I'm preaching. I need everybody to get something in that communion cup, okay? I'm not communion cup. What is it? In that basket, in that offering basket, I need some offering on that one. And the last one, for what purpose doesn't look like, is no progression. Just like I talked about with the moving with ill intent, when you're not running the race that's set before you, you won't have progression. You won't grow. You won't move. So you trying to be that real estate agent, but there's no progression in it. You can't get over a certain number or amount of clients. Your clientele won't grow. Your money won't grow. Your business is not prospering. It's not moving. It's not growing in the places or the things that you need it, because that is not your purpose. That is not for you. Hasn't been, never will be. So you have to understand, and you have to see that when you're not progressing in a certain place or in a certain thing, sometimes God is not calling you in that area. He hasn't called you for that. There is no purpose within that, or it's just not your purpose for that. So, understanding that sometimes that God does call you to other things within a different season. So you're wondering why you haven't got that next step or that next call. Sometimes, baby, you got it. He sent it to you in a dream. He even called you personally on the phone, sat down next to you and said, baby, this is for you. But you so focused and worried about what you want that he's been told you, I got something for you over here, but you ain't listening to me. So that's part of the 4 that I have for what purpose doesn't look like. So remember, it's something you have to force that's unaligned. 2 is chasing. 3 is moving with ill intent. 4 is no progression. Make sure you are running the race that's set before you. I cannot, man. A word that was given unto me, I got to give it unto you. Run the race that is set before you. So, just going on here, I have a segment that I came up with that I really wanted to share. Is P for P, which is purpose for purpose. And I think that my purpose here is to do this podcast. Like I said before, it's for me to get other people to see and understand what their purpose is, what it can be, what it can look like, purpose within seasons, purpose with other people. And so as I go into it, I want to leave everybody with a question, which is, does everybody have purpose? Does everybody have purpose? Or are you just out here raw dogging life? You know what I'm saying? But that's my question for y'all. But if I was to answer it, I would say everybody has purpose. There's purpose within purpose. There was a purpose for me doing this podcast. There was a purpose for me getting up and waking up this morning. Whether I understood it or not, or whether I found it, whether I saw it, there was purpose. There's purpose within different seasons, like I said before, in which we're going to touch upon. I can't wait for y'all to come back because I got so much locked and loaded for y'all when it comes to purpose and purpose within seasons. But everybody has purpose. Everybody is here meant for something. There was something that my auntie told me. She was just like, and I remember I was telling my auntie, I was like, auntie, purpose is just me doing what I want to do. Like, it's just like everybody, we ain't all here meant to work at a grocery store. We all here meant to do just something bigger and better. And just, we ain't here meant to be doing all this other stuff. And then she was just like, Lex, I don't think you get it. And I'm like, what you mean? Like, I just feel like my purpose is not meant for me to get up every day dreading going to work. Like, purpose isn't meant for me to be going to work in a 9 to 5. And I know somebody out there gonna testify like, yeah, you speaking the truth, because getting up and doing a 9 to 5 every day, just there's no purpose in that. But my auntie was just telling me, she's like, Lex, I don't think you get it. Like, there's purpose within that. And I was just like, what? And she was saying that you may be working at 9 to 5, but that purpose within that 9 to 5 can be something so much greater than just you. A lot of times we think that purpose stops at us, or it starts and stops at us. But sometimes it starts with us and ends with somebody else. So she was like, you could be working at a call center, doing that 9 to 5, and you like, man, I can't stand it. Or somebody has joy working at that call center, working at 9 to 5, because when God placed them at that call center, it was for them to get on the phone with somebody that needed to hear their voice, that needed them to be talked to, that needed them to be uplifted or to be given a message for something. They were meant to work at that call center because their purpose lied within that call center for so many years, or for so many calls that they needed to take. They are there working that, and they find joy in that. that's their purpose. And that right there, it shut me up. Because I was like, man, ain't no way we supposed to be working 9-to-5s. And, what they did back in, Jerusalem, they weren't working no 9-to-5s. Like, you pop, 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 boom, bam. And she's like, you just don't even get it. You don't even understand. Like, there's so much purpose within the things that we hate, like, or the things that we can't stand, or we don't see, or we don't feel like people should be doing. People find joy in it. People are excited to wake up each and every single day and do those things because there's purpose within that. So that's my answer on, does everybody have purpose? And then also another question that I want to leave y'all with is there purpose within this, or was it on purpose? So was there purpose within this podcast, this first episode that I brought to you? Was there purpose within this, or was it on purpose? I'm going to let that sit there and marinate within your spirit. All right, y'all, I just want y'all to leave questions, answers, and comments. Y'all can leave them up under the comment section on social media. Don't forget to follow on Instagram at P.D.A.pod. Again, that is P.D.A.pod. Go ahead and follow. Ask questions, leave questions, comments, concerns, things that you would like to further talk about within this podcast, or like to be gone over, or what you feel like purpose is. You could also email things that you would like to share if you're a private person, as much as I am too. I don't like everybody all up in my business. So go ahead and you can email that email. That's P.D.A. podcast 1@gmail.com. Again, that's P.D.A. There's no dots, just P.D.A. podcast 1@gmail.com. Go ahead and share your scenarios. You can also follow us on Patreon if you want to give and support. Go ahead and submit your offerings to the Patreon to continue to have this, to let this podcast keep going, to bless it, because it ain't cheap doing this, y'all. So as much as I love giving and pouring into myself and pouring into this for other people to hear it, it also has to keep running. So in order for it to keep running, donations are not required, but are welcome. Also, make sure you are locked in and you subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is P.D.A. podcast. All right. I thank y'all for tuning in with me. I thank y'all for watching. I thank y'all for supporting. And I'll continue to wish for your continuous support with this podcast, and that you continue to grace me with your presence online. And I thank y'all for tuning in to Purpose Driven Ascension Podcast.
Crystals of energy, look at the chemistry. It do not even mix chemically. Most of the tricks, they be gimmicks, they mimic the truth. It's poison and we got the remedy. There is a bomb, apply it. The fire can stand to the tallest of giants.